Good evening, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C, where we're going to be continuing with our explorations. It's not explorations, it's just our adventures in getting all the stuff, all the configured stuff into our database. At the end of last stream, we spotted that we're indirectly leaking some stuff. We made a note to do that, to handle that, didn't we? Yeah, investigate memory leaks and parser. So I'm just going to quickly have a look at this. I think maybe what all that's going on here is that when we return no op, we just don't free the config. I think that's all that's happening. So we do initdb, call that, and if we I guess that isn't being handled, is it? Is that right? Well, no, it's just here, isn't it? So if we do that, I think all you need to do is just free config. I think you call it that. But if I don't do it like that, do we just exit with the error first of all? Let's just see. Yeah, cool. And that, then if you saw that red flash, that red thing flashed by, that was this unsported, well there's also this as well, but it's this unsported DB version 8, which is because we have hard coded this to encounter this error basically. But if we let this happen, and also I usually, nowadays I use the other exit program, I use this one, so I might just do that, although let's just let this happen first. So we're still erroring, okay. Direct leak of that. Unsupported DB version, so it's definitely here that we're getting to. So there we do have the config. Let's just see what happens if I use that other the other exit program. Because if that handles it, then that's what we'll just use. So whatever this exit is doing, what is this? This is the exit from standard live, cause normal process termination. And this is the exit from UNESTD, which does some more stuff apparently, I guess. See exit 3. So yeah, I guess they just do different things. All functions registered with that on exit are called. Okay, so yeah, I guess I haven't registered the function, have I? I haven't registered the free config function. But that's fine, at least I don't need to care about too much about that. I just know that we've got rid of this situation here. So I guess wherever we call this, we just change it to be, well, not that one, but we can change it to be that, I reckon. Or that, this one. Yeah, perfect. So now let's put us back to 5, which I think that was. I think you can only save by quitting, I think. And now we're back to running. So what we're going to do today is essentially we're going to try and do syncdb Right. So basically, this guy is going to be taking the entire configuration. Right. So first of all, let's just do that. Print config, so you can see what I'm talking about. And also, let's just exit straight after doing this, so we can just see the config without going through this rigmarole. So here's our config, right? We've got many projects. We've got stuff with the root scope. We've got some people in here. I think people are already they're pointed to by projects, so they won't necessarily. We don't have a place in the database to store people yet, but we might want to do that possibly. We'll see how that pans out. We probably will actually want to do it once we've got. It's going to be once we've got the config file hot reloading essentially. At the moment, it won't matter too much because I believe every time you run the program, you sort of regenerate the people anyway. You regenerate the HTML files, so you would automatically pull in the new. You'd automatically pull in any changed stuff from the config. But once we've got the hot reloading stuff, we might want to smarten that code up, so that rather than like rebuilding entirely, it just kind of like regenerates the stuff that it needs to generate, that's different between the old and the new versions of the config essentially. In which case we'd need to store what the old config was containing for its people. Yeah, but anyway, so we've got those, and then we've got these guys here. We've got the risky project, and I'll just show you. This is all. It's just reflecting the projects. So you see that risky comes first. That isn't an oddity. That is because risky comes first in the included file, right? And the included file is sourced before our projects in here essentially. So that's why that's appearing up there. I think I might swap that actually, so that we can be talking about hero. I think I might like a way to just to get us started, to add all of the dudes, and then have an easy way to actually access the code project, because that's the one I'd like to continue working on. We're currently we're using code as our test project. Hero code is like the guy that we're setting as our current project. So I'd like to do that. I'm not exactly sure if this is going to be at all similar. Probably won't, but I don't know. But yeah, I think I'd like to just go to the Cinera included and just change the order of these dudes. Alright, and then now you should see that hero appears first, which is great. So yeah, we've got in the configuration this structure, which is just mimicking the stuff in the config. Here you got hero, and it's not actually it's not indenting these sort of to reflect the generation essentially. So it's a bit. You'll just have to trust me that this is contained within this, basically. So you got the hero, then code, and then Ray. I think that's all. Yeah, and then risky is a new person, which is it's the same level as hero. You got risky, then you got the actual risky, which is the risky business project. Riscalanious. And have we got another one? Yeah, we've got the book clubs as well. So you've got book club, and co-add is contained within book, as is reader. And that's it, I think. Yeah. So as a first step along this road, I think what I'd like to do is to just start off with an empty index, so we can assume that the index is empty. We're not going to handle the merging, so we're not going to handle the updating these guys if projects are being we're not going to handle anything like detecting reorganization of projects. Basically, we're just going to start by assuming that we've got an empty index, and we just want to simply push the guys on in the order that we know we need to push them on, so that our project index basically works, if that makes sense. I think it's going to be for int I is equal to 0. So I think actually here we should be within our rights to. So init prod is in DB, by the way. Actually, let's just see, because we do have an init project function, don't we? What exactly is this doing? So yeah, this is actually doing the stuff that we need, isn't it? So it's taking the project in. I think let's just duplicate this function entirely for now. Should we do that? Let's duplicate it and then, well, actually we don't need this locate block. Skip block, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, let's redo it. Okay, so this is going to be some location, isn't it? Now, when you say you want to init a project, do think this wants to call itself recursively. And also, when you initialize a project, you should be initializing, yeah, right, you should be initializing the project and all of its children. So it seems like we probably need some preamble code and postamble code, basically. The preamble code will basically I think it's going to increment the project's block count, right? And then it's going to write that out and set the file edit position. And then I reckon we do this, right, recursively on each project. Yeah, we write out a project header for each dude, accumulating the file size, and then the postamble is going to write out the remainder of the file. And then cycle the same postage file. I think that'll be reasonable. So let's say that we've got an init project DB, we've got an init DB preamble, which is going to be, I don't know exactly what it's going to have to take. Probably just the pointer to the well, that's going to locate the project's block, isn't it? It's going to do that itself. So it probably doesn't need to take anything actually. All it does is increment that count. We do take. Yeah, we don't care about any information about the project itself. So let's just pull this little bit of information out. So now is bytes into file used anywhere? It is used down there. So it probably needs to return the bytes into file, doesn't it? Is that true? Isn't the edit size, the edit position, the bytes into file? Now that I think about it. Yeah, set file edit position is going to be that exact thing. So I think actually we could get away without doing that. We could say, so here we go. Is it signpost? I think it is signpost. So yes, we don't need to deal with that bias into file. The bias into file is purely for this operation here, which I suppose could just as well, well, we can do it in the function, can't we? You know, might just as well be the actual thing. So we've got, that's the point, we've got a buffer here. Oh, that's just points to a buffer. Yeah, and since we're only using that in one place, no, we might as well just screw it and just say that it uses, that we just say it's the full thing. Because we use it in 2 places, yeah. There's no value in chopping that out. This is global anyway, this set file edit position, so that's going to be perfectly fine. So this is, yeah, it's going to do the preamble. And then it just says for all of the dudes. Well, I guess it does the preamble, it does this, and then it says for all of the dudes, and it can also set that actual child count to be the correct thing. So that's already set. And then it just says for each of the dudes, do the business. This might as well be done up there, by the way. Oh, actually, no. No, it does need to be done down here after cycling the file. But yeah, because we need to fix this pointer back up, that's the point. And I guess this is wanting to return that pointer. Do we care about that? That's supposed to be returning the pointer to a header. Yeah, it does seem like it just shakes out that that's exactly what you need to do, isn't it? That the bike position is actually the correct place for it. So yeah, maybe do just say that this returns a dB header pointer. Right, and then this just returns the that. So right, so this all happens. The child count is going to be actually the P. Edge count we don't know about yet. That's going to be filled up as we go. Ah, hang on a second. We shouldn't be doing the preamble all the time. Right. So it's like... it's like the interior, isn't it? It's like init product and db interior. This actually does take a project. So now that I think about it, we probably don't need the preamble and postamble functions separately, do we? You know, because they're only getting called once. Am I looking at this the right way, actually? I don't think I am. I think that just needs to be called init product db interior. And then I think this guy is actually supposed to be the person who calls themselves. I think that's what you actually want. I think that seems more like it. So, yeah. So for all of these dudes, we're going to do this. syncdb. So basically, all this is going to try and do is initialize all of those guys in the database. Pretty bizarre that this has ended up being like 3 function calls. I mean, it kind of belies what's going on, doesn't it? I guess rather than interior, let's call it recursively, so we sort of we know that it's recursive? I think we do have that, don't we? Remove directory recursively called its... well, does it call itself? It doesn't call itself. I think locate projects recursively though. Does that call itself? This guy's locate project recursively. So yeah, locate project recursively does call itself. So I think that's reasonable to call it that. Init project recursively, and also init project in DB recursively. Yeah, that is right. So you got the recursively, and then the final dude. So unless I've done something completely wrong, I think this should be okay. Now we could kind of be a bit fancy and just sort of say, after having synced the DB, I mean, we've got an initialize the neighborhood somewhere down here, haven't we? After we've got the current directory, current project. We could be a bit cheeky and just straight up say that the current project, I guess we do need to win in the neighborhood, don't we, to reset it and to actually give us a neighborhood to pass down to people. But I think this locate project function could occur elsewhere. And also, I think this code is to do with initializing databases, isn't it? Actually, well, hang on. This is to do with initializing the index files of individual projects. So I guess technically this is to do with the init project in DB. Well, I think as a first step, let's just let the init DB happen. Sorry, the sync DB. Let the sync DB happen and then exit. And see what we've done for ourselves. So it's apparently successfully ended. Didn't report a single thing, but that's fine. So I've got dhex Cinera DB. Oh right, yeah, I need to actually delete this, don't I? But I guess that's kind of handy, isn't it? that didn't actually die. Code 502. They've got code and we've got some risky stuff going on down there. Got code and array. So yeah, all this stuff is garbage. What if hero? Yeah, there's hero. Now that looks a bit suspicious, doesn't it? Why exactly? I wonder. And also, this is nice to see that the assets have got printed out correctly. Why the base directory is not changing? Like this thing here, this home temp Cinera test, I would have thought that they would be different. Ah, right. No, it wouldn't. Yeah, let's change this to be family. I wonder if this could come back to haunt us. Like if somebody does use the same base directory for multiple projects. What do we do? I just don't know. But let us delete our little dude here. And that's already deleted. And run it again. So somebody fancied reporting that. Test hero code, test hero array, test risky risk again. Yeah, test risky book club, test risky book code, test risky book reader. Yeah, I guess there's no real way around this, I don't think. Basically, it's the duplication of the family. So we've got the duplication of risky book reader there and there. I know it sounds a bit weird, but you don't necessarily need to set these guys to be the same thing, do you? Oh, maybe you do actually. Because if you put something in some place, you know, if you locate something in one directory, well, I suppose even that isn't necessarily true, is it? Because you could say in your server that a particular URL just presents the contents of a directory of your choice. It doesn't necessarily have to follow the directory hierarchy. Bit weird, but yeah. I wonder where that's getting positioned. Where it's getting told though. No such file directory. I don't think that was informative for us. It's a P error. Guess we could make read file into buffer take a boolean, which is like report or don't report an error. Couldn't we? You know, because we don't care that this doesn't exist in this case, because it just doesn't matter. Like, we're just going to create the file. Probably this. This one would want to report the error. Well, hang on a minute. Again, this guy actually does handle that case. So maybe we just don't want read file into buffer to bother. Maybe. Yeah, maybe well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we've got the stuff successfully writing out. Got the assets writing out as well. So now what I propose we do is, now that we've initialized the DB, or now that we've sort of synced the DB, we do need to actually let it proceed. And also we need to remember, every time we do this, we need to actually right. Yeah, risky gets stuffed in there. Test is in here. Where's hero? Maybe they're all here. Or did we just not generate them? I don't think we generated them, did we? Because we didn't go on. We didn't continue to do the stuff. So yeah, this should be going into Cinera tests /test, and they're totally not going there at all. So yeah, let's forget about the ensuring the thing is reorganized, right? Init project in DB is purely writing the stuff out. Right, so every time we do this, we need to remove DB. And now let's let it continue. And having done sync, I think we want to just take a look at what this does. That's returning that. So this is getting the current project from the actual. I mean, it says it's getting it from the project, but it's getting it from. Well, it's getting it from the config and then from the project. So it's getting hero code. I think I might actually not do this at all, and instead try and initialize the neighborhood. So there's going to be no current project just yet. It does this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the project index. I think actually is it. How do we do this? Yeah, it's project, and then I think it's just like that. Right. What I'm hoping this will do is locate the hero code project. Essentially, sounds pretty crazy, but all right, yeah. Yeah, so we haven't really tested this, have we? This project accumulations. This, the accumulation stuff. This accumulator here. We haven't tested this at all because we haven't had a chance to do it yet. So we don't know if we're actually going to at all get the right thing. But should we just run it? Let's see what happens. No harm, is there? Might work, it might not. Doesn't work. So init files point to the 0 page in init neighborhood 7021. Current project will be set, will it? Yeah, current project isn't set there. Right, yeah. So yeah, now how do we init that exactly? I don't think that we. I think that if this fails, we just have to say we're dead. Basically, I think, at least for now. But if we have got that project index pointed, then what you say is that the current project is just equal to that result project index pointer, don't you? It's not like. So yeah, I suppose. Slightly cheesy, but I think you do actually need to do this. I mean, we are mimicking the same idea here, which we don't want to do. Essentially, what we're doing is current project is getting the project from the configuration, and init neighborhood, in doing this thing here, locate project, it's trying to get it from the database, isn't it? Yeah, it's getting it from the database. I suppose one thing we could do is we could say if this, if you haven't got that, then we fail for now. And then we probably could also say like as a very rudimentary thing, just like if the ID of the current project does not match the ID, basically if the strings differ, it's LV0 as well, I think. Well, actually, no, let's do it like this. It's going to be the current project. Sorry, the current project ID and the wrap0i of the result project index pointer ID. Okay, so what does it? You could say project index pointer. Can't remember. Well, it's the it's this project ID. Jesus, really? So we know that it's a project. We really don't need to be saying this at all, do we? That would marry up with the actual stuff. And it also changed it to type, didn't we? What? So if they differ, then we exit. Otherwise, just sort of assume that it's okay. And I guess we could sort of say also So there's our hero. Hero is supposed to go there. I assume we should see a 2 somewhere to do with the hero. It's a bit difficult to read. The 2 to denote the child count. We should have a child for code and for Ray. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of this this program at all. In comparison to the previous one I was using, because it doesn't like when you move through here, it doesn't show you where you're up to in here, so it's you just have to be purely reliant on this. It also doesn't colorize the stuff, so you can't really see at a glance where you're up to, like where sort of content is versus emptiness. We've got a Proj Hero. I mean, that thing about colorization will be really handy for what I'm trying to look for now, which is essentially non-zero, a non-zero thing. I'm trying to see that 2 that I was talking about. I'd also like to be able to see, so there's our 2, right? So that's denoting that I think that's relating to the code. So that's going to be the start of this code project here, and I think this child count, I presume that's a child count for this hero. I think that's what I'm looking at. I might just have a quick search. Hexil coloured command line hex viewer. Sounds promising. I think Hex Edit was the one that I used to use, wasn't it? Let's install this. Let's have a look at Hexil, because that's described as being coloured, which is one of the things we wanted, wasn't it? Okay, so yes, it's coloured, but it doesn't show us. It's not a single window thing. So let's have a look at. Well, actually, let's delete that. What was it? Text edit, wasn't it? So this isn't coloured either. So now into the realms of the Arch user repository. A futuristic take on hex dump, really. A Vim-like terminal-based hex editor scriptable with JavaScript. Written on the go. Hexagonal hierarchical geospatial indexing system. A Vim-like hex editor. XIM could be promising. Super hexagon. Pernified. A fast hexadecimal editor. I guess we could look at just narrow down to the Vim-like ones. Linker based hex editor with a Vim-like interface. BVI plus XW utility. So yeah, I don't want the scriptable JS garbage. Should we just try Zim Git? Let's try Zim Git. Let's try that. BVI plus and Zim Git. Which one? Oh. Okay, so Zimgit needs Rust apparently. 0.9.4. So what was that, BVI plus? Again, no colours. Is there anything like... yeah, it doesn't highlight over here either. What's this information down here? That's showing the hexadecimal value, the decimal value, and the binary value. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I do like that. It's also telling me the full size. And also you see this one, this kind of implies that you can have multiple things. Okay, so you can't actually backspace, which is interesting to say the least. Blank. So that's PVI plus. Let's go and install that other dude. Let's get Rust on the go. All 64 megs of it. Compiling void version 1.0.2. Just type def it, mate, or whatever. Alright, I think we've got it. Could be mistaken, but I think we've got it. We've got it. So this is, yeah, it is highlight. I mean, look at how this is redrawing. Just, dude, just like back buffer it. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, this is unusable. Yeah, it's definitely unusable because it's not. You can't navigate by pages, so all that for nothing. I like the fact that it, and also it doesn't highlight these guys. It is showing the progress through the it's showing the marrying up of the things here, but it's not highlighting anything like this. I mean, it just sort of seems at this point. It just seems like I just want that original thing that I used to use. And I don't know why I can't use that. I think it's just not existing anymore. Did I delete BVI Plus? No. So yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we're just stuck with this piece of shit. see if there is anything about colorizing. The changes are showing a different colour, it's saying. Yeah, I might have to do a little bit of research to see what's available. Sadly, this list just doesn't seem to have one that I want. Did I try Hexa? Don't think I did. Let's just try Hexa. Yeah, again, yeah, it's not. At least this is actually like drawing to a back buffer. Or at least it's not flickering. Okay, so you can edit, you can replace like that. But yeah, like I say, it's not highlighting the colours, highlighting the non-zero stuff. Should we have a look at one of these GNOME desktop dudes? I don't want a KDE one because I don't want to pull all that crap in. Let's have a look at GHEX. All 3 megs of it. So yeah, again, this isn't able to highlight, is it? Well, okay, I'm probably not going to use it. Alright, we've had enough of sidetracking looking at text editors. Let's just give us a couple of minutes and I will continue, I think. Not exactly sure where we're up to actually, after all that. I think maybe what we could do is cycle through all of the files. So before getting down to monitoring file system for new edited or deleted, allow it to sync DB with import, basically. If we've got a current project, I think it's basically, where does this go down to? It goes right down to the bottom. Yeah, I think we want to pull some of this stuff out. So sync DB with input happening. I think we want to make sync DB with input happen for all of our projects, I think. That might be what we want to do. And then we get down to monitor file system. And then I think once we've got multiple dudes going in, I think also, by the way, when we do this inserted here, I think it might be nice to make it say the entire family. So I guess we could potentially do that first. Just make it print out the whole family. Derive family project. So we're going to take the config and the current project scope tree, unfortunately, which we don't have available to us, do we? Yeah, that is unfortunate. I think we need to change this actually. Change this derive family of project to actually be talking about an actual project and not a scope tree, if that makes sense. Which I think basically means that we will have to, if you look at the project type, I think we're going to have to add to this person. See where you've got your children. I think we need to add a point to its parent. So you can actually climb the tree. So yeah, let's do that as the next first thing, which is just, as I say, when you do this inserted thing, you first of all derive the family of this entire project, so you can print out that whole thing, and then you write out the base file name. And Bob's your uncle. Be right back. Right, on we go. So let's just take a look at where this inserted happens. Probably in add entry, isn't it? Oh, it's actually not going to. Well, actually, does it say inserted? No, you see the edit time, so it's unfortunately in insert entry. Where is this guy? I know that get neighborhood gets called by this function. Delete from DB. So yeah, delete is going to be one of those. Insert into DB. Here we go. So having done our stuff, we want to print out the log notice. Right. So basically here, we've got the file, base file name length. We basically want to be saying something down here. Yeah, so we've got the neighborhood, which is going to have the product index pointer. Yeah. We basically want to be saying here is derive family project and passing the neighborhood product index pointer. Right, and that is just straight up a pointer. And also the config, do we pass? I think we do, don't we? Right. Ah, hang on a second. I think we only passed the config. So we can extend that string. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's why the config is there. So actually, now that I think about it, we've got the config available anyway, so why not do that? You know, why not use the resolve variables book? It's a bit cheesy, but we could use it, couldn't we? And now that I think about it, why don't you just say that for each project they just come with their own family? Sounds a bit weird, but you'd just be done, wouldn't you, if you did that? I'll tell you what I will do. I am inclined actually to rename the family variable to lineage. I just think that'd be better. So let's do that. First of all, let's just rename that family variable. HIJK lineage. Yeah, also the thing about this, is that what are we doing here? We are pushing a project, apparently. I think the very first thing you want to do I think when you push a project, right, what you do is the very first thing you do is derive its lineage. Right. And then when you come down here, you don't need to rederive it. You just straight up, you just use its own lineage. I think that sounds like a reasonable idea, because you're gonna want to be using the lineage, because we're now in a situation where we're doing this inserted thing. You do actually want to be using the lineage in multiple places. And I suppose also while I'm at it, by the way, yeah, whereas the family, just change it to be lineage. And what about in the included? Alright. I think if I just look in the config full also, I know this is well out of date now, but I think I will just go through doing the change that we just did. So now, rather than taking a scope tree project and popping up that stack, it actually takes the project, right? And the project itself in addition to taking the lineage, I think it's reasonable for it to take a parent. Oops. Oh shit, we're getting into the situation again, aren't we? When we're fitting people, pointers could go awry. Couldn't they? So the parent is there, the parent child, parent. I think you just say, don't you, that the P parent is equal to the parent, don't you? And then this guy could reasonably derive the lineage because it has the pointer to its parents already in it. Now, how did we update these pointers? So this needs to happen before the fit, basically. Well, hang on a minute. It's all this lies into it. That could be complete garbage. Okay, I can't build that. I mean, it didn't die, did it? Is that something that I should actually do in config full first? I wonder. Probably is actually, isn't it? So let's do it. Config full. So basically what I'm doing is I'm adding to the project type. Right, push projects. Then does the stuff that we're just talking about. Let's do it again. So the current is there, fit there, and then if there's a difference, we do this situation here. Do that. The p parent is equal to the parent. Right, so that's just been set to be this guy's child count. Set that. And then push that project. Alright, that looks okay to me. So again, this is just fixing up the pointers. It's fixing up the parent pointers of all these children. So, derive. Where's our derive function? Wasn't it called derive? Lineage. Oh no, don't tell me that's in Cinera.c, is it? Derive lineage of project. Where's that? Derive lineage of project. That is in config.c. So why? Do we just not have that in the apparently full config? Yeah, I guess we just don't. That's pretty insane. Does resolve local variables not? Ah, right, so we don't use... So we never made it, basically. Ah, yeah. So I guess we should probably actually... Yeah, derive lineage is just a free string list. So I guess let's just copy this whole thing down into it. Right, now this should fail, I reckon. Because we're not talking about projects anymore. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, wait a minute. No. So there's string. So we're trying to push string. Ah, maybe it's just that actually. Nope. Sorry, P. Alright, we're getting there. Now, so this isn't going to modify the project pointer, so I think we should be alright, shouldn't we? Isn't that unfortunate? I guess we just have to make resolve string take the project. Is it always available? Let's just see if it is. I guess maybe you can pass it as a 0 actually, couldn't you? So yeah, it's not available here, is it? Which is fine because we still see ident assets root there. So that can't have anything to do with lineages. Anyway, in terms of deriving the lineage of projects, like that isn't going to happen. Push person onto config. That isn't going to have anything to do with lineages either. Nor push support. Push medium could though, couldn't it? Yeah, there you go. And it's pushing onto a project. So this guy could reasonably pass that project through. And then that's it. So I guess all you do is you just... Right. You just got to do that. And then they derive... yeah, resolve local variables has to then take this P. Now that I think about it, we can reasonably derive that lineage from the scope tree, actually. Like, there's no reason why it has to be derived from that. And if we're going to make we're basically making the family, the lineage, available straight in the project when we push one on. So this particular function, this derived lineage of project function, is only going to have to be called during a push. And when we push a project, we do have the scope available, don't we? Or don't we? Yeah, we do have the scope tree. So now that I think about it, I might just back that out and just say we do just use the scope tree. The thing is though, when we do push a project onto project, wherever the hell that happens, probably lower down, wherever we do that, we could still point to the parents, because there could be more things that it could be used for. So yeah, I think I might just back this whole thing out. So that gets derived like that. And then that happens there. So in the case that you've got a lineage variable, in the case that you're... Although now that I think about it, you don't need to rederive it, do you? Because you actually got... I suppose actually in this case, yeah, maybe you do. I was going to say, if you got the ident lineage, couldn't you just use the project's lineage that's already been set from when it was pushed? Yeah, I mean, this doesn't actually take the project either. You've got the config, no problem, which has only been taken so that you can extend that string into it. And you're only resolving into the scope tree. It's only once you've resolved this string that you actually have access to anything like the projects, yeah. Well, actually, you wouldn't be able to use the pointer directly, would you? Right. If you've got a variable being used in a string, you need to make the copy anyway. So there'd be no value anyway in pointing to the P lineage directly. Right. So there's kind of no cost to rederiving it. I mean, I guess the derivation is a bit of a cost. Not much, but yeah, let's just let this happen. So derived lineage approach is going to be called in a couple of places. It's going to be called when resolving a local variable here. And it's also going to be called Where's that derive thingy? Did I just... Shit. What is position? Position of the token position. Well, how did this build before? Oh, wait a minute. Have we just copied the... Did we copy this in from old code? I think we might have done, mightn't we? Yeah, maybe we did. Now, yeah, the string list doesn't need to have because derived lineage of projects. Let's just have a look at the resolved local variables in here. Okay, I suppose we haven't backported this change, have we? Get error taken as severity. Yeah, so there's all sorts of garbage going on, isn't there? Unfortunately. So, what have we learned? We've learned that we are reasonably... Okay, so we're okay to derive that thing. Basically this, really. And then the push project. This guy now needs to do the fixing for those pointers. So let's just redo that again. Push project onto config. So a guy who has the thing pushed onto the config ain't going to have a parent, because they are just the most parentful person. When we push that project on, we're going to derive its lineage, and in deriving its lineage we do this check. If the project ID, if the parent project ID key is ident project, then we continue to do this garbage. Right. Does this build? I think it does. It's kind of half done, this config full stuff. Unfortunately, we're just drifting further and further away from a thing that has, they're just like a more sort of confined set of things that it does, that we can just test on easily, to a situation where we're basically just always testing through Cinera. So here we go. As I say, I think we do. We got the lineage, but I think we do still want a parent pointer. Although, now that I think about it, because we're not using the parent pointer for anything now, maybe we just don't bother. Actually, let's say we don't bother. That might be the better way to deal with that. Yeah, no, we don't actually have it. So, yeah, just stick with stuff in the lineage on. Let's see if Cinera actually now builds. Right. So rather than trying to do this, what we do is it expected a string. Did it? Oh, there's a type string. Sorry. What? Oh, we're talking about this dude. Oh. Okay. Fine. Alright. So let's delete our thing. So there's our test hero code. We've got a nice little hierarchy popping up down here. Let's delete the whole lot so we can start fresh. Because I don't know if anything is at all correct. See what happens. So why is code getting inserted at the front of that, I wonder? That's what the problem is, isn't it? It seems like the lineage ain't getting set right. derive the lineage. Derive the lineage of project. Free string list and return the result. Should we just do a print string on the result? Surely that's what's going on. What does this actually take? Takes a pointer to a string, it does. Well, I mean, that could be modified because that was us. Let's do that and jump into drive thingamajig from thingy. See what it produces. I think we still need to actually, well, we might be able to get away without deleting the stuff. If we can't, then we will, well, so here we go, deriving the lineage of project. It's a hero, yeah. So that ain't right. So we've got a scope tree. If the project, we want to push a string, scope tree, the project is equal to the project, while the project, and the project ID key is equal to the ident project. We want to, well, we're not adding forward slash, are we? So there's no forward slash occurring there. Let's just do a look at the parse config. After having parsed the config, this is in the wrong function. Wrong file. After doing this, I suppose we should try printing the config first, and just see what we've been presented with. So I think parse config should be pushing the dudes. What I'd like to see is what we receive. So yeah, risky what reader is popping up as the right thing. Risky what reader again is looking beautiful. So what is going on exactly in the other case when we're doing the derive thingy? Because we're calling derive now in a couple of places, aren't we? Calling it there and there. So there's the scope. Derive the lineage of project. I think the resolve local variable one is working correctly. So what is that being passed? I suppose actually we could just, yeah, we could just totally look at both cases, can't we? So what have we been passed in? We've been passed an ident project, Cinera include, and our parents. Let's have a look at our parents if possible. Can we do that? Our parent is an ident null, so we're not going to be producing, well, we shouldn't be producing anything funny, should we? Hero. Just try running it again and just see what we've been presented with. What is the project's ID value? I wonder. That's set to hero of length 4. So if we've got a project, the result is starting off as 0. if we've got a project ID value, we're going to push that string onto the string list. We're going to set the project to be its parent, right? And then we're going to go into this while. So while we've got project and project that is equal to item project, do that. And now we're saying I think push string, yeah, push string is pushing onto the string list. I is equal to the string list count minus 1. The result is currently nothing, isn't it? Yeah. So we should be extending that string once. Okay, so I think extend string in book is busted, isn't it? Just run that once more. And this time, look at the string list. String at 0. So it's hero of length 4. And this shouldn't be anything, should it? Yeah. What is extend string in book doing then? Oh, it's not resetting the pen. Is that true? Ah. Derive lineage of project. Oh, hang on a minute, I can't. I think in this case I can't. So when we resolve local variable, I don't think we can. Let's just have a look at the backtrace of this actually, to see what where we've been called from. Yeah, we've been called from push project. We haven't been called from resolve local variable. So I think what we need to do is in push project, before deriving that lineage, we just need to reset the pen. We just pass the memory box, a pointer to the memory box. Resolved variables. I think that's what we need to do. Okay, so I can't build that because we're in. It's not a full file. Now let's just load that again and run. Yep. Now let's have a look straight up at the memory book. I think this string is talking about the current pen, so the length is currently 0. So I think if we go down to result now, I think this should now be okay. Yeah, so it's now hero length 4. So we just need to reset that pen. Now we've come back into this, I reckon, have we? Or haven't we? No, but if we just continue and look at that memory block again, this time there's already a length of 72. So this current string is all of this lot, home market, Cinera, CMO story. So what we're trying to do here, in deriving this lineage of project, we're extending the string. It's pretty crazy, but what we're doing is we're extending in string in book those alpha variables. So the current string is this of this length, and we're going to extend this string by the stuff in that we stuff onto this string list. Right. So that's just done that. Yeah. So I think exiting is what the doctor orders, I think. And then if I'm not very much mistaken, we still need to delete this before going anywhere. And I think also delete these dudes. Right. But I think now if I run this, we should see that it looks right. And it certainly does to me. So insert hero code 524. So yeah. So that's all I wanted to do. So now we've got stored in the project its lineage. So we can print that stuff out. Right, the lineage is down there. We could also do that for the delete from DB, right? Where we do this print out somewhere. Where do we do that? Here we go. So deleted. You just do the same thing again. I'm not going to bother to test this because it should just be exactly the same. But you basically just do unable to move directory. I guess that's probably the well, actually most of the deleted actually, frankly. Could be the same deal. And then here we go, it's like we can't test that actually. It wouldn't harm us, I don't think. Although we haven't tried doing anything of that sort with the new stuff, but maybe it'll work. I don't see why not, frankly. Yeah, there you go. Delete the entire thing. Hero code 000. So yeah, I think maybe we'll call it there. We haven't done an awful lot. A couple of, well, blimey, 2.5 hours. We haven't done an awful lot, but what we have done is at least get the following happening. syncdb. We've done this, basically. We've done these little dudes here. init project in DB. So now all that's happening is that the data. So we didn't have this at the start of the stream. All that's happening is we're getting the entire hierarchy of projects in the config inserted into the database. So you've got the hero there, you've got the code. Here's the entirety of code, which we've just hard set to be the current project that we're going to go on and process all the stuff for. And then we've got Ray here. We've got Risky that is contained within Risky. And you can see that you've got the base Alpha directory also is now using the full lineage. We've got Book, which is the book club, which has an actual title. Coad, which is within Book. Reader, which is in Book also. And we've got all the assets still getting written out correctly. And these guys are also, I believe, indexing into the actual stuff. So if I'm not mistaken, we can try this, but I don't think I'm going to bother to debug it if it's busted. But I think we should be able to say if we just tag this as Julie, does this crash? It doesn't crash. So there's no credentials. Ah, right. Let's actually do it on somebody that we can produce. If we just tag this Julie, what happens? Yeah, it dies. Apparently, Cinera topics, those are directories, so it hasn't managed to initialize the assets correctly, I guess. So it's got the asset, it's got the checksum correctly for that. But it's saying hero code. That looks a bit suspicious, doesn't it? Handmade hero / index.html. Updating checksum this in HTML files. So I guess we just screwed up something somewhere so that we're producing all of this. Ah, maybe we're not offsetting the thing correctly, actually. So, yeah, like I say, maybe we're not setting the assets pointer. We're doing sync DB. We are doing the init neighborhoods. Where's init assets happening? There's that signpost getting done. If we've got a current project, put it in the assets. So there's the DB metadata signpost assets block. We look at the assets block, we are going to set that. Are we doing some stuff before that's set up, I wonder? I'm not sure. I think this is something we're going to leave for tomorrow though. Like, we're not doing sync with import before doing the init assets, are we? No, we're not. Because there's init assets and then sync with import. Don't stand there. And this whole business up here is happening by syncing DB with import. So yeah, sadly we've broken the I assume we've broken the pointer of this thing. Although now that I think about it, init neighborhood, are we just missing the pointer for the project actually? Because I think maybe the assets are getting the pointer set, their signpost pointed correctly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're clearly getting through this business, aren't we? Right, we've got the project index pointer set. And it's the same ID as the currently set project. So I guess let's just do that. Let's leave that on a note. The memory leak in the parser. Right. There we go. Asset updating stuff to make sure we actually get sniped in correctly. It didn't even deep break. I found while indexing hero code 2525. Yeah, I can't remember how we fixed it, sadly. So yeah, we need to just figure that out. And then I guess once we've figured that, I mean, is that the way to do it? Do we figure that out first? I suppose one thing actually, we did a deletion here, didn't we? We did a deletion, and after having deleted we had to update the asset. Maybe that is the culprit actually. Let's do what to do. Could the entry do that. But yeah, let's call it a day. And look into that tomorrow. Hopefully we'll fix that. And then we're going to also have to figure out how to basically marry up the hierarchies of the config and the database to make sure that the database reflects the project hierarchy that's in the configuration. So yeah, thanks very much, Heroes and Heroines, for being here, for being beautiful and fantastic, and for also misspelling updating. Yeah, thank you always for being up to date. Until next time, farewell for now.